Hey everyone, this is Genesis. I'm coming back to you with a video for Dissension. It's actually a coding video, as you can see in our mystical virtual reality space here. What I'm working on is a completely new building system for the players. I want a system that feels really flexible, works really well, a lot better than the old one. The old system is you put things down manually as you run around in your first person or third person view. The reason why I did that initially is I didn't want people to use the cameras to abuse things to figure out where players are or enemy AI are. But I actually thought of some ways to, get around that. And on top of that, I've learned how to use the cameras to a lot better effect. So what I have right here, what we're doing today is just getting a basic system done. I have my what I call a lazy script, which is just proof of concept really, where I do a lot of the functions and things, the hard part. I get it set up here, and then I actually make it functional and put it in the game. Like right now, I'm just testing with a just a single object. Like I don't have a list of objects I'm picking from. I want to make sure I get it really good with one object, and I'll move on from there to the next. I have an old system already that I'm working off of, but I'm going to be converting this entirely to the new system. So that's going to be fun. And so instead of using add actions and all that nonsense, what I'm doing is I'm moving from add action based system to a key based system. So what I have right now is to show you. Is hit this button, goes on this camera, and you control it just like you control Zeus. Right? So Q and Z goes up and down, and then I can use R and T to rotate. Just like this. I can rotate the object. That's all I have so far. So you can see if I was trying to build, say, well, it wouldn't be an ATV, but like a structure of some sort, I can kind of use the camera to position right where I want to, get it rotated just how I'd like, and then hopefully be able to place it down. So what we want to do now is we have R and T for rotating, or left and right. I want to get maybe F and G for height. And so what we're going to do is I'm hitting F here, you can see the bottom left, it's 33. So there's a function in here that essentially handles all this stuff. So 33 is F and G is 34. Okay. Alright. So if we take a look at my lazy code here, I think I have it simulate the height. Here's the height, which you always start at 0. And it's pretty simple. All I need it to do is simply subtract or add. And for this, I'm going to do just a meter at a time, so you can get more precise with the height. And we can go ahead and test it to make sure that that's working just fine. Okay, I can use R and T to rotate. I think less than a meter actually would make sense for this. It's almost like too much, right? And I'm going to make sure that it can't go below 0. I think maybe a little bit below 0 is okay, but I really don't want it going too below. So I can even add something here. If this height is less than, say, 0.6, then this height equals 0.6 maybe. For some structures you want to sink down a little bit. And the height, we're going to do 0. Let's do, we'll do 0.2 at a time. Okay, and I'm going to make the camera last a little bit longer. Okay, so we can rotate. Oh, so there's an issue right here. You can immediately see that I can't go below. You can see, I think that's real nice. I can go really high. I can go really low. Okay, so it goes a little. Let's change that. So if it's less than -1, then we'll set it to -1. We'll try one more time. You can see right there is our limit on it, and I think we can even up that a little bit. But I want to be able to sink things into the ground slightly, just for base building. And I think that's fair. So we can have it get attached to, make sure it doesn't go too far. And it can go really high. Just like that. And blop. Just like that. Okay. So let's do negative 0.75 and then negative 0.75. So that way, hopefully it won't go too low. We'll just make sure I like that before I move on. Yep, I think that's pretty good. Just arbitrarily. You can see you still can't put things on top of players or other objects. Like if I come over here, it actually stops right there. I can't place it there. This, by the way, is how adding custom missions and things in Dissension is actually pretty easy. These little grids in here represent where I want the AI to spawn in for these prefabs. You can see the camera actually allows me to go a certain distance as well, which I really appreciate that. I actually did not know. I don't know that was a limitation. If you like, take a look here, like I only can go a certain distance away, which I actually really like that default distance. It looks like it's a square. Some kind of weird rectangle shit. Okay. So I actually really like that default distance. So, bam. And one thing I'm going to do as well is once this is done, is we're going to focus just on that, but we'll get to the part with enemies disappearing and how I'm going to handle that. So we have rotating, we have height, and then I think that's all I want to do. I don't want to do roll or anything like pitch, anything like that. I do need a button for, I think I'm going to have Z 44. It's going to be the toggling for flush. So if I wanted to say flush to the ground or not. And it'll be a simple, I can actually look at the old one, just steal that as well. There we go. Bam. Bam. A lot of system chat. I'll make something that's pretty obnoxious that you will definitely notice. And I want to go for a lot of polish here. So I think adding a sound in would not hurt. And let's use, if it's this FD timer, I think this one is pretty good for random noises and beeps. Let's say let's put play sound. You won't do it for the rotating because that's just going to be too obnoxious, but this one you won't be spamming. Oh, you know what? Z, look, Z makes you go down. So we don't want that. Yeah, we don't want that at all. And I noticed that it's also running the code twice. If flush, then so does X do anything? I don't think X does. So we're going to have it be X, which is 45. So you can see it's on both the code. Oh, did I? Oh, so I left this up here. I'm derping out here pretty hard. So that at least lets the player know, hey, you hit a button. And I can sit here and rotate. I can rotate, lower, increase. And I'm going to have to find a way to communicate this to the player, because this is definitely not super intuitive. And obviously make it so when it's done, the stuff needs to go away. So I'm definitely going to add that here at the very end, like so. So that way when we're not in the thing, we don't have to worry about it. So X will do that. We'll have, okay, so what other controls do we need to have? We'll take a look at the old one here. We could raise, lower, next object, last object, and exit. Turns up. So we need to place object. Now I'm thinking I want that to be, I was thinking left or right mouse button, but I'm thinking just sticking with the keyboard, having space place might not be a bad idea. which is 57. And I'm trying to think if I want to put mouse clicks into this at all. I kind of want the mouse clicks to rotate left to right. I think that makes the most sense. So what we're going to do is space will place it down. So if we simply grab this, add another case in here. So 56 equals space. And I'm going to change this up a little bit, but I want it to, when I hit space, just want it to toggle this to true. And then we'll worry about the rest of that later. I'm going to have to change up how the system works entirely. And we'll just do a different sound effect replacing it, right? Okay, got some good feedback here. Let's see what we already have in the game that I can use. Let's pop down large. Let's see what this sounds like with that. Play sound. Now, this version won't have the object be actually placed yet. I think I'm going to get to that. But first I want to make sure that we get to the rest of this first. I want to make sure I get the framework in. Okay. Rotate, height. Oh, space is 57. Whoops. That's a good sound effect though. I think it's a good sound effect. Okay, so space will place it. And now we need a different event handler entirely. This is keyed down. I'm going to have to remember. Because we have, what? We're using display add event handler. I can't, man, I don't have to remember. Is it on mouse button down? Mouse button click. I think my mouse button click we want to use, so we're gonna make it completely. Oh, I'll just keep it simple. Cam controls 2. This call control line 2. This is going to be a mouse button click. I think that should work just fine. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Because if one exists, the other one will definitely exist in most situations. We'll receive an error message for this one. And that's okay. Alright. So then we need to have another one that is just for the mouse. And I don't think, because I think I run it right now, well, I need to get what the codes are. So right now we're just going to have it do this. So I can get the codes for it. And with the codes, oh, I'm not getting anything really. Let's see here. So let's wait for this to end out. Okay, let's try one more time. Oh, that's interesting. So this event handler is just not working. Mouse button click. Okay, maybe I missed something really obvious, like these can only be added. It might be the click as well. so generic events. Use on control. Okay, so I might be using this in the wrong thing. I think I'm using key down, right? So if you find key down, yeah, see, okay. So we have to find something I can use on a display. Control. He's on blah 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 blah. So the mouse doesn't come up. So how did I... Well, this is interesting. HTML link. Oh, that's good to know. I can use that for something else. So all these are tree events, those box events, button events. I know I've done this before. So I'm going to go ahead and cheat here. I'm going to go to Dropbox, ArmA Dev, and here oh man, I have to find it. I found a way to do that. I'm sure this is really simple and I'm just missing it. Let's see. Player town system. Where is it? Let's see. It's in here somewhere. Mouse button down. So wait a second. Let's mouse button down. Oh. Mouse button down. See, this is only using on a control. Use on control. So why is what? But this way is working if you add it. Okay, that confuses me. We're gonna give it a try though. Oop, okay. Display add event handler, display add event handler. Alright, we're gonna give it a shot. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, I guess that works. So this select one, it looks like left mouse button is 0, right is 1. Okay. So what we need to do, 0 is left mouse. Oops. In case 1 is right mouse. And now we need to cycle through. So we're going to use our good old beeping noise here. I'm just going to make sure this works. And it looks like for some reason maybe I didn't save it or I fucked up something. Wait for this to end. Come on. Is it going to end? I think we've been past 30 seconds. I'm gonna bring this back to 15. I think I broke it. Yep, it's broken. We're gonna go and reboot it up here. It was broken because of this. That was my fault. Bam. I didn't ever close up the switch case. That was stupid. Alright. Starting over. So it's picking up my mouse clicks. Everything's still working as it should. That's working out just how I'd want it, which is fantastic. So now what we need to do is change this up. Now we need to have a list of things. So the way we have it right now is like when I do the next, is it picks the next object in the array. Or it subtracts it. So this is going to get a little bit more complicated. So I want the right mouse to move forward, I want the left mouse to move backward. So there we go. Keep it consistent all across the board. And now this is where it gets a little more complicated. I'm hoping to use this old system as much as possible. I want to be able to hook it into the system as much as possible, for sure. So when we hit that button, we do need to just kind of recreate everything. Okay. So, which means you need to go back to the cam create. Oh, this is a plus. There we go. So this is if we're adding something here for the next one. We need to delete the current vehicle that we're using, and I'm going to. Yep. We're going to select the next one out of the array. And if it doesn't exist, then we obviously take one step back. Then we create the new one. We set the same system up. And we continue with what we were doing. And I need to add a check in here that we wait until not is null this, and that should help a lot, I'm hoping, but we're going to find out, because I'm assuming if you're changing the object, this is running so fast there might be some problems, who knows. So we're going to go from there. Okay, so there's that, and now we need to go ahead and grab the next one. So if you subtract, it's the same thing. I think we should back at the, well, spawn object needs to be out of there. Okay. Well, we're going to have to add things here and there, but as long as I get the basic functionality down, we should be good. Now here's a thing here, we need to make sure that we define this array here in these functions, right, this code. Okay, and then what I need to do is, now this is where it gets a little more annoying, we need to actually have an array of objects. So let's see, our temp array is what we get from our fortification array. Okay, so all this is still going to work the same. I'm going to try to set up as just as close as I can. Okay. I'm going to add some variables that will be preset in Dissension. Delete these when implementing. So like this here, we're going to put a list of objects in there. And obviously these, like a lot of these functions in here are going to be defined elsewhere as well. They won't be defined, like you won't define them every time you run the script. So we need to get a list of objects. So we're going to get the quad bike. Let's enable Zeus here. I'm just going to throw some random ones down, like just, yeah, let's get these ones. Okay. Oh, you can see it's still active. Oh, look at that, it's still... Oh, obviously. I am messing that up. Helps if you're, if you actually read what you're doing here. There we go. Okay, copy to clipboard, string, type of cursor object. So what this does is just allows me to easily copy these class names. So what I'm doing here is just creating a fake list of things that a player may buy in Dissension, just for the script to function. I want to set up to be just as similar as possible. Alright, so like that. And then finally, you know, wrap it off with that. And that will just, that'll start our test rig here. Okay. And then we have the temp array that gets defined at the top, which then will be part of the script down below. Okay, now one thing we need to change is this cur object equals the temp array select 0. And here's the thing though. Well, gosh, let's see. I think the temp array needs to be global, because, yeah, it does. It needs to be global. So the temp array will just change. Get rid of the private. And the reason it needs to be global is because, yeah, you'll see here. Go ahead and do that. It gets reset every time you open up the script. Right. And then I'll have it always select whatever first on the list when you first open it up. Let's see how this treats us here. I'm going to move these objects back. I moved the AI with them. Whoopsie. That's okay. I'm expecting errors here. Or they can just work. So you can see I am now just cycling through. One thing you'll notice is that it's particularly, they don't, not everything is green. These things don't support textures. So I think that's just the way it's going to have to be. And you won't be able to hit other people with it, obviously. And I'm thinking, I'm just taking a look at it here. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. Now here's my question though is, one thing I have it set up in the old system is if you have a whole bunch of these, say these bag fences, I don't want to have to cycle through each one, I only want to have it cycle through types. So I do something like that. Is it going to do that, where I have to... No, actually, wow, I don't even know how the system works. Oh, because I already have it still not in the temporary. Okay, I'm being really smart. Okay, so now let's have it so we place it. Right? That's the next step. So let's see how we do the placement here. So once I hit the space, this is essentially all the code I need to run. This is a variable called toClose, and we will be fixing that right now. So the toClose variable essentially is, if it's too close to an object, it should not let you place it down. That's constantly checking, right? Alright, so now when we hit space, I shouldn't even think we need this variable to be set, honestly. It's a much different system. Okay, now this is quite the code here. So I'm going to want to definitely oops, shit. Just going to do that. And I only want the sound to play if it can be built. Right? And I'm just getting the information here to make sure it gets spawned in correctly. I need to replace a couple things here. There's something in here that we're not going to be using. This place building will not be doing anything right now. Okay, I'm going to optimize this. So this delete at for each index. Optimize that. Alright, let's give it a try. Okay. So if I rotate it just how I want, and I'm gonna actually, whoops, I was smoking it. I'm gonna go ahead and increase the time to, well, let's go ahead and add an exit button actually. Instead of just destroying it like that, let's have escape do it. So if we quit the cam now, if I am in here and hit escape, it brings up this menu. but also would like that to close it down. So escape is 1. Let's see if we can make it so it does it how we want it. So case 1, which is escape, I want it to destroy the camera and close dialog 2. I have the close dialog 2 part because I also wanted to close the escape menu. If that makes sense. So if I hit this, no. I can't remember which dialog that. I thought 2 just closed everything. Let's close the dialog. Oh, let's see, hold on. If I hit close dialog 2 in here, right? Oh, there's a way to close this. Oh, maybe it's close display. Is this a dialog? I think this counts as a dialog that's open. Yeah. Yeah. Is there a way to... Okay, ArmA first player button. Well, I was going to say maybe there's a way I can have it emulate hitting the escape key, but here's the thing. What is the abort button? How do I get this button here? There's a way to hit it. Hold on. Because let's go to Dissension here. Yeah, display control. It's displayed 49. So close display 49. Oh, maybe I should do find display 49. I don't know how this command works. Let's take a look. Oh. If I got it. So this is just in case it's open, and we'll do a check here. So find display 49, close display 2. There should be a way. If not is null, find display 49. I believe that's how you do that. So like in case someone binds it to some other key, so for some reason the escape is not escape. So like now if I come in here, escape. Ooh, look at that. Hold on, let's make sure this works. Yeah, that works. I'm actually gonna have this spawn. I think it needs to be a slight delay is what's happening. A sleep of just 0.25. Yeah. And we can even have it be quicker than that. At just 0.001 maybe even. Oh, it's too fast. There we go. Alright. So, bam. So here we go. I can run around now, as I will. For some reason, shift slows the camera down. That's okay. The controls take some getting used to. Q and Z go up and down. You could think with ArmA. T and R rotate. F and G. Okay, so at least they're all in the block together. And then X was the building system. Okay. So I noticed a bug already, so I can go ahead and put this down here, right? If I wanted to. And see it's not popping with anything until I hit the mouse button again. So I need, oh, and here's this again. Oh, I'm not removing the objects correctly. Okay, so we have some issues that need to be addressed. And I can just spam these, okay. So let's go ahead and wait for all these to get inside the system. So we're halfway there. So this should be, oh, the temp array needs to be modified is what's happening. So the temp array, well, hold on. There's another step here that I'm completely missing. Let's go check this, our old buddy here. Ah, this is what's going on. Okay. Here we are. This whole system right here. So here we count. Looks like we count the number of things we have left. If left count is equal to 0, then we move on to the next one. What's this one attached to? That's that system. Okay. So we need to add this. This system right here needs to be added in. Bam. This makes it much easier when I already have most of the code. Just paste that in right there. Okay. So let's just see, without even looking at it, reading through it. I'm going to delete this. Oops, without even reading through any of it. I'm just going to see what happens. Not a good idea. Oh, look at this. I think I bugged it out. And I can't escape, so I'm going to have to remove this manually. Something happened there. So I'm just double checking some things here. I think I'm going to have the camera destroyed first, just in case. And then have it close that. Alright. Whoops. Okay, there we are. I'm gonna have the camera probably spawn up a little bit too, probably a good idea. Okay, we're gonna rotate. High locations left 0, but I can still select it. So it's working. You can see it says 2, 1, 0, 0, 0. So it's almost working. It's counting it down correctly. And this is not being removed. Oh, that's weird. It's like it's delayed. Oh, I see. Wait until. Aha. You know, we'll do this. If not is null, this vehicle. So we just caught a bug here where it was hanging up here. So if it's not null, it'll go ahead and do its code. That way, if something runs out or something doesn't work, it'll just keep going, but it'll just stop checking. Alright. So what we're going to do, let's look more closely at the code actually. So what we have right now is we hit space. Okay, as long as it can be placed, it'll play the sound. It'll get the type of the current vehicle we have out. It'll delete what we have. Okay, and then it creates a new one, which is the CV. If a flush is set, it'll make sure it's flush. Now this S active thing, I'm not sure what this is for, so I'm just going to go and delete it. Let's remove action. This all needs to go away. Right. You get spawned in. The simulation, it gets enabled after 2 seconds. Okay. It deletes it from the fortification array appropriately. Yeah. That's all correct. So we have the left count. And I'm actually going to, yeah, leave it at that. Fortification type left. Type count left. Okay. That's fine. So if the left count is equal to 0, okay, here we go. We have the temper right here again. That's probably my problem. I didn't change this around. So, so we just need to add, I think I'm just doing this, right? Okay, oops. I wonder if that's going to fix it. Yeah. Oh, close. So see how it's not generating anything right there now? And then we get an error right there. Okay. So let's go ahead and fix a couple things here. That error first. I think we can change if not is nil. Get rid of some of these. Alright. So long as that's not nil, then do this. Sorry, excuse me. And now if we have enough, okay. Else. Well, hold on. With that not nil, I need to see if that fixes it. So I'm going to delete these, move that. Try it one more time. Just need to make sure. So it moves around. Yeah, okay. So what we need to do is just have it. Let me fix that one bug now. One thing at a time, right? Okay. You can see how quick it would be to build a base now on this and get pretty nice and precise. So we're going to go ahead and, well, let's add an else statement here. This is really big and I don't like it. I wish I could make it more precise, but for this I just need it to work right now. Okay, so for this is going to be the similar thing. To this. I'm going to grab this. And we're just going to put that there. And that should solve the problem. I'm being lazy and not reading through everything. Like, oops, like I should be. Oh man, I really just botched that there. There we go. I really want Q and E to do it. Or maybe E and R, because Q and Z go up and down. I don't know if that's bound to. I'm gonna, because some people bind E, I'm gonna leave it R and T. That allows you to really kind of. I really do like this system a lot better. You can see it's a nice intricate. Oh, here's some errors here. So when you finish up, we need to have some checks. We need to have some checks in here. Okay. Alright. So we're simply going to do this. We're going to get rid of this. If count less than 0, less than 1, exit with. Alright. And then if maybe we do the same thing up here, that'll solve the issue. So that there's nothing, if you have nothing in the list, then just stop. Like, don't even bother. And then we also can do the same down here where we delete it if we exit. If not is nil this vehicle, blah blah blah, then this is going to be prettied up when I finally get it all together. Like I said, this is my lazy script. Let me just develop really quickly. Alright, so let's see if I can. Okay. There we go. I'm spamming the buttons, nothing's happening. Oh, you know what? I just realized. Can't do that. Okay. Because I can't hit escape now. That was not smart. Well, we're going to go ahead and manually fix this problem. Okay. I think what we're going to do, let's see, would it be better to just have it, just do this. If this select 1 is equal to 1, then just execute the same code. That's why we can avoid any kind of errors real easy. So we're going to build a similar structure. Okay, very similar. And now I can escape, and we're good. And I can go ahead and do it again. I like it. Okay, let's test real quick. Like, what happens if I put this in the air? Falls to the ground. Now what happens if I put this here? Okay, take this. So this is one thing I don't like. I want to be able to stack these things. I can't. So I want to be able to stack items here. Because I make it so you can't put, like, well, I guess, you know, it's not perfect like that. So now I can do, you can still do shit like that, but you know, that's okay. Can't control everything. So I kind of want to mod it a little bit where, or do I want to change that? Part of me really doesn't. I don't want people building things that extend into the sky. I'm trying to think what would be the best here. So like, pulls the nearest objects for everything. Takes away the player. Takes away the vehicle itself, obviously. And that's greater than that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean I could add things in there. Well, check the Z height. But I think if you want to do that, then you need to just use a different building or structure. So people at least are constrained somewhat. Because I'm still not technically, you know, I still don't feel really comfortable with people doing shit like, you know, with the system it's pretty easy to abuse. Spawning in a vehicle on top of someone's face, like that. So I think I need to make it so you can't build within a certain distance of any enemy. Right? And also, I'm not a huge fan of people doing shit like this. Like, I could just put this up in the sky. So I would like to add in a check. If there is nothing underneath it, I want it to fall to the ground. I think that's fair. Like, this shit's okay. Like, putting it on the ground, fine. Let me check this. You know, there needs to be some restrictions on the system. But I don't want people... Like, you can kind of put, like, you can make certain things like that. I think that's okay. Even if it looks a little weird, but I think that's okay. So, let's add in a quick check. See if an object is floating. There's be another function here. So it's going to be let's see. This is setting it up. This, let's see, floating, float check. Okay, so we're going to just pass this, which is going to be the object. So, I haven't done this in a long time. I'm thinking line intersects width, maybe? Maybe the way to go. Let's bring this over here. Line intersects. There's surfaces and width. Objects. It's our object. Now we want surfaces as well. Because ground intersection is also included. Does not return intersection with sea surface. That's fair. Okay. So let's see if we can get this to work. We're going to take this example. So I'm looking at this here. So I'm just taking some examples just from here. So line intersect surfaces, private intersections. Because line intersect surfaces uses ASL. So we're going to use get pos ASL. This. Actually, let's get pos equals get pos ASL. This. ASL is just above, it's like a sea level. At sea level kind of measurement. There's different ways ArmA to measure. There's terrain level, sea level, that kind of stuff. Some commands prefer it one way or the other. So we're going to be testing the at sea level, and then private pos end is going to be is equal to pos select 0, pos select 1, pos select 2 minus, I don't know, we'll do 5 meters. Okay, obviously I want to ignore this. I think this, for some reason, it has 2 ignores. Ignore object 1 and object 2 sort mode. Closest, yep, is it true? Max results, we just want 1, because it has to intersect with something, right? Besides itself. And we're going to use geometry and none. Okay. If count ints is equal to 0, then we want to this set pos to get pos. So then we get the position of it, and then I want to set this to pos ATL set 2 to 0. I think that'll work. And then make it go down, and then we'll just add in a system chat building system brought object to ground. Object has no support. Something like that maybe will work. Let's give it a try. Oh, you know, what would make that smarter is if I actually executed the command somehow. That would also help a lot. Alright, so when we create the vehicle globally, here we are. Okay, look at that beauty. Call, bam. Alright, so I'm going to raise this baby up. Yes, it's supposed to be right there. So we can see, strangely enough, I'm getting the message for that, but I don't get it for any of these. Okay. So we're gonna chat this, and then we're also going to change its position, and then do pause ATL set to 0. So that should help a lot. Alright, let's go ahead and... Oh, there it goes. Okay, so that works for that one, but look at these. These ones, for some reason, don't work. Because you look at the system and everything, it is hitting itself. Apparently, it counts itself as objects, even though I'm telling it to ignore itself. Maybe I'm using the command wrong. So let's make sure, is it type of object we want it to ignore? That's interesting. No, looks like it's just straight up object. So what if we do, it might be some of this line is this here. The defaults they use are max results, sort mode. So it should be ignoring the objects. But it ain't. I want to make sure I got that right. Yep. Interesting. Okay, so then I'm guessing some way I'm using the command, so I'm going to change this up a little bit. Because the default is view and fire, so let's go back to that. View and fire. I really don't know what those mean. I probably should spend some time learning that. Okay. Null object, null object. As you can see, it's colliding on itself again. Oh, that one didn't. Okay. So, even though I'm putting it to ignore that, it's not. So what we're going to do is we're going to take, okay, pause equals, pause set to, pause select to, minus, let's see, I'm thinking I'm just going to get below it. So, there's a function and you need to get the height. So I want to start the line drawing below the object itself. So there's a function called bizfunc object height, which I'm going to use. Height equals, and how do I use it? I just put this as an object. Okay. So this call height. Alright, so hopefully that should fix it. Look at all these floating shit. So now if I... Oh, got an error. Whoops. Alright. It's still intersecting. These are working, but then we take a look at this. That's still hitting. So let's go ahead and maybe we need to multiply this by a little bit. Let's do times it by, I don't know, let's just do 2. You know what? I think I know what's happening. Is it hitting? I think it is ignoring it, actually. I think it's... And that, this is okay, but I think what's happening, actually... Maybe. No, it can't be. I was wondering if it's, it was creating the object too fast. Right, the second object. Well, there's one way to find out. I think that's what it is. No, it's well, I can't fucking tell. Alright, let's clean this up a little bit. Alright. So sometimes this happens in ArmA where the simplest things are such a royal pain. So the reason why I don't want to do just times 2 is because for like a really tall object, I just get worried that it's oh, we just multiply it by a little bit, like 1.25. Oops. I keep hitting that wrong button. Ugh. See, that worked. Okay, this is all fucked up. Hold on. See, it's the object. That's... I think it really is. I know it sounds silly, but I think it's... The error I'm getting is literally... See, that was working now. I think the object sometimes spawns in too quickly, and the function's not done running. Is it just gonna work now? What? Alright. You can see I'm just kind of playing around with it now. So what if I... Okay, I want to try another scenario where I put it there, and then I want to... Too close to a road to place structure. Too close to a road? Now that's interesting. Okay. So this is if, okay. Distance. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, this is just, I don't think the system's going to be perfect. I think I could try to tweak it all day, but I think as long as I can get it to be like this, where I can kind of build like this. I don't need to stack objects on top of each other. I can get them really close together. And, whoops, oh, I keep doing that. I think I'm happy with this. I'm just going to change it up a little bit to, oops, too close to a road or another object to put structure. So what I'm going to do now is implement this, just as is, kind of into Dissension. So this is going to be a huge pain. So deploy fortification. I actually can get rid of, well, let's see here. So some things I need to add in, obviously. So while live camp and a live player do this, right? And if is alive, or if alive is cam, then destroy cam. Is it cam destroy? Just cam. So just in case you get killed while you're trying to build, it will do that. And we'll go ahead and get rid of the rest as well. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go on a leap of faith here, just because I want to see this in the game. That alone. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to grab cam crate, just plop that right in. Now these are getting redefined every time you run it. Right, I'm going to leave that for right now. I am going to go in through there later and suppose their own private functions only get defined once, for obvious reasons. And I will actually go back here because I want to see how. Okay, so here I want to get rid of this. Let's do that. Okay. So it's in theory in Dissension right now. Oh, and we need to implement our one system. Right, I don't want people using it to see what AI are. Okay. This is what we're going to do. We're going to put up Dissension here. And this should actually be pretty, hopefully straightforward. So when you open this up, and if you manage to get all the way down here, let's hide all enemy units. While you're in this, you're going to hide all enemy units. Okay. Let's see, for each all units. The ones that are currently spawned, at least. I'm not going to have it keep iterating every time. So, so we're going to go private. Oh, if side is it player? Is this like variable player side is equal to side x? Then x side object true. If no, I gotta remember object parent object pair. There's another command over here. I can use object parent. Yeah. So, and if they're in a vehicle, vehicle X, also hide that object. So you can't use it to cheat. What we want to do is also make it just in case they jump out. So why we want to build an array of things that we're hiding is so we know exactly what we need to unhide later. So I just do a check again to see, well, if they're if they're in a vehicle, then unhide it. That's not a good idea, because if they hop out of the vehicle later while you're still building, then it will still be hidden. So we're just simply going to make an array, right, of everything that we hide, and just at the very end. Not the most pretty script. Just gonna hide it. Voila. Now you can't see enemies. In theory. But you'll be able to see allies, we won't be able to see enemies. Alright, so let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and do a new game. I need to get to bed. This takes just a minute to load. So, at least this way, if you accidentally place it on an AI unit within that distance, or an enemy unit that's completely by accident, for the most part, and I think just adding in a thing where you cannot place the object down next to an enemy unit within like a good distance, I would say at least 100 meters, makes sense to me. And I'll add that back in, I just forgot about it. Because everyone's thing I don't want people abusing that is building like walls and things in front of each other. 100 meters away, that's okay. Maybe even further, but we'll go for that there. I want you to be able to put sandbags and things down in pretty close proximity. I might even just reduce it down to 50, who knows. Alright, so I don't need to purchase any gear. I'm going to go to the barracks here. I'm going to go ahead and just purchase HQ here. And this system I'm also going to be redoing. You can immediately see that it's loading in just fine. I can rotate. Now I do need to get the if I hit X here, you can see I can toggle between flush and not. I need to get like the hints in here. So this is nice. I can kind of control this exactly how I want. I actually really like this system. Now, definitely when you're in build mode here, this is very demanding. Like, it's a very demanding script to be running. Because how much, commands it is actually executing. I actually like this a lot. So then, I'll go and test it. That's as far as I can sync it. So I like that. So we're going to go ahead and press, you know what happens if I just put it way in the air? Oh, see? stuck. So that's going to need some work. I'll have to find a better way to catch this being on the ground. I'm not going to do that right now. But I kind of just screwed myself because now I can't get to it. But I can still purchase other structures now. Oh, look at that. One thing I forgot to do was re-enable this. Alright, so I think we'll end it there. I need to make it so you can't put objects just floating in the sky. I think that's going to be very important. And I think that will fix a lot of the issues. So I think we're gonna have to look forward to that. All right. So with that said, I will see you guys next time with hopefully a better, complete done build system from the ground up, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much for watching.